In this video, I'm going to go over how to start a real estate fund from scratch, coming from somebody who runs and manages their own private equity real estate fund and just went through this entire process. I'm going to break down step by step how I would recommend you go out there and start your own fund. So this is what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to go over the niche, legal, deal, raise, repeat. This is kind of the 5-step process that I just went through to start my own private equity real estate fund. If you want to learn more about Red Brick Equity, what we're buying, where we're buying it, so you can learn how we're doing things, so you can go and copy us if you want to start your own real estate fund, please go ahead and do it. Link down below, top of the description. So when starting a real estate fund, you first want to think about the niche. What are you going to buy, right? Like there are so many different things that you can buy in real estate land, right? So number one is niche. You can buy multifamily, right? You can buy single family. You can buy self-storage. You can buy office, right? There are so many different things that you can buy in real estate land if you're going to start a real estate private equity fund. And these are all the niches that you have. We have a ton of experience doing this, single family homes. We had done 650 fix and flips. We had a portfolio of a couple hundred single family homes. And it was great for me and my family to invest in those things. But as a fund model, it was kind of tough. It was kind of tough to raise money for single family houses to make those numbers work for our investors and our clients, right? We ended up choosing multifamily. I don't have experience with self-storage. I don't have experience with office, retail, commercial, industrial. I don't have experience with any of those things. So the next level up, and what we had done many times, was small multifamily apartment buildings. And those were way easier to raise money for, way larger check sizes that we can raise money for, and also just safer, to be honest, versus the single family houses. The multifamily properties for us were just the best choice. So the niche that we chose was multifamily. We had a ton of experience with single family houses, doing hundreds and hundreds of deals. We had about half a dozen multifamily properties that me and my family had bought and renovated and sold. And all those deals did great. And then now we started a private equity fund to kind of scale up that business model. So for us, we chose, and by telling you my story, hopefully you realize that, okay, that kind of makes sense, to go from single family to multifamily and then scale a multifamily real estate fund. So that's the first thing you need to pick, is what niche are you going to focus on? And the second thing I want you to kind of ask yourself here is like, why? Why do I need a real estate fund? Do I need this to get to my goals? Why should I do it with this fund model, with this fund approach? Because you obviously clicked on this video because you want to learn how to start your own real estate fund, right? But my question to you is why? Why do you need this vehicle? Why do you want to put yourself into all these different, hot buckets of water, essentially, because you're going to file with the SEC. You're going to let them know what you have going on, all that kind of stuff. So before you get yourself into this, I just want to make sure that you know what the hell you're getting yourself into, and why is this extra layer of legal bullshit really required to get you to achieve your goals. Again, for me, it was worth it. And I knew what my why was. My why was to get to 10,000 doors, multifamily, with I didn't have enough money to buy that on my own. My family doesn't have that much money. So we have to raise money from other people in order to achieve that goal, right? And the goal is to get to $1 billion, couple $1 billion in a portfolio. The only way to do that is with a fund model, okay? So that was my why in order to do this, which may help you. The next thing that we have to focus on, so now that the niche is all done, we're gonna move on to the legal aspect, okay? So once you've chosen your niche, the most important part of the fund process, as you will learn once you actually get going, is the legal aspect. So lots to talk about legal-wise. Again, we're only a couple minutes into this video. I could make a 3-hour-long video about legal, but I'm not going to do that to bore you. This video is going to be very 30,000-foot overview. The legal side, you have lots to think about who your clients are, where you think you can raise money. Can you raise money from accredited investors, non-accredited investors? The biggest thing for me when choosing a fund structure was one that allowed marketing. Marketing and also scale. And the reason why I say that is there's certain fund structures that don't allow you to run paid ads, to run marketing, to verbally tell the masses about what you have and what you have going on. For that was a deal breaker for me, because for me, it was all social media marketing, making videos like this to help people go out there and learn how to invest, right? And because of that, if I can't market, I can't scale. If it's just me and a bunch of unaccredited buddies investing into a fund, maybe I just do a joint venture. Maybe I don't need this whole fund structure, fund model, And so for me, that's why we chose, a 506 Reg C, I believe. And that allows us to do marketing to accredited investors. All right. So that's what we chose in terms of the legal. Now, you're going to have to first go and find like a platform. That's what I would find first. This platform is going to make sure all your investors are accredited, manage their money, manage the K1s, manage this, manage that. You have to find some sort of platform that can help you with all this process. Within that, though, they might have legal on staff, okay? And so these legal people might help you with that deal disclosure document, operating agreement, like all the legal documents that you might have. They should have them templatized, and there's tons of different platforms you can use to go out there and raise money and use this as your like legal base. But you do need a software, and this is where it starts to get expensive, because these softwares will be $10K to $100K to get in, right? And sure, it comes with your legal document and operating agreement, which is going to cost you a lot of money anyway. But then on top of that, they're going to charge $1 to $10K a month. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit pricey. And again, going back to the why here, like I want to make sure you have a really strong why about why the hell do you want to do this because of that. Before you drop a ton of money, maybe you want to test it out small. Maybe you want to do it with friends and family. Maybe you want to do some joint ventures first before you go through this whole legal disaster. It's not going to be a disaster, but just like the legal platform and regulation that you have to go through. Okay, so that's illegal. Again, very simply put, find a platform. They're going to be able to get it all done for you. Next, with the real estate fund, is finding your first deal. So this is super, super important because this first deal is going to be the one that is going to either make or break your real estate fund. And I'm not trying to make it seem like it's a doom or gloom, but it kind of is, because this first deal is your most important deal. The reason why is because of what's called repeats. So the fund model, the way that it compounds is from repeat investors, people continuously investing more and more money into your fund. The more money they give you, the higher revenue you make for the little amount of ad spend or cost on getting that lead in. So you really want to over deliver on your promise to all of your investors. So make sure this first deal is a goddamn unicorn. Make sure this first deal goes fucking well. Make sure you add in buffers to all of your numbers. If this deal does not go well, it is going to be very tough for you to continue to raise. If this first deal goes well, it is going to be very easy, because these people, it starts the word of mouth, okay? Those repeat investors, if they have success, one, they're going to double their investment next time. Two, the word of mouth is going to start and begin. And that is where you get the insane scale of a real estate fund, or just the fund model in general, where you get all this word of mouth traffic coming to you, investing. Then their friends invest. Then they send in their 401k. Then they do this, they do that. So just your first fucking deal, just make sure that it is very, very, very frothy for everybody, okay? And I want to make sure you have enough fees for yourself in this, because transparently, starting a real estate fund is fantastic. However, as a fund manager, me personally, you don't make that much money doing it. You make a lot of money over the 5-year period, but it's really hard to like leave your job and do this full time. And we get paid a couple different ways. We get an acquisition fee, we get a AUM fee, or like an annual fee, and then we get a promote. Promote is a fancy way of saying equity in the deal, okay? So we get paid in all these 3 different ways, right? But we only get 20% of the equity. We get a 2% AUM, 3% AUM, and then 2 to 3% acquisition fee, right? So there's a little bit of money up front, a little bit annually, but again, it's gonna be like $10,000-$15,000 annually, right? And then you get the equity. So the big kahuna for us is the equity. The biggest portion of equity pays off in year 5, right? So just think about that a little bit more. Make sure you're putting in a lot of fees. The other great thing about fees is that, like, if you can have your investors invest into your deals and they're okay with paying the fees, fantastic. Because if that deal does go sideways or something does change, you have some buffer. And so for me, I always think about like, I want to have as much fees as I possibly can because that means the deal works with these additional fees. If shit were to hit the fan, I'm going to take care of my investors because why? I want repeats and I want word of mouth, right? So you eat second in this business. Your investors always eat first. And so if you have a high fee structure, in my opinion, yes, some people are going to complain and not like it. Cool, no worries. But if you can get them over that hump and have them believe in you, in the system, in the process, they are going to become repeat investors because if shit were to go sideways, you have a little bit more leverage. All right, let's go to the number 4 part, raise. So now that you have the platform, legal, the niche, you have your first deal, we get started with the raising money. The way that I would kind of think about the raising money for your first deal is, let's do this, raising money, my favorite part. We're going to start with friends and family, okay? And then we're going to try to find some CIOs, okay? So if you have friends and family for your first deal, and hopefully your first deal, you don't have to raise that much money, like hopefully less than $5 million or less, would be great for a first deal, right? And so you want to start with your friends and family. What I've done too to help raise more money from friends and family for a first deal is set a low minimum of $25K. Most funds will have like a $100,000 loan minimum. We set ours at $25K to allow friends and family to come in. Okay. Next, centers of influence. Is there a uncle, a friend, a family member that you may have that might be a center of influence and can bring in 2, 3, 4 people on this deal, right? And so what we do is we give these people benefits to bring in their circle of influence. So we say if you invest over 100K, you get a 80-20 versus 70-30. Okay. And then you're like, well, my CIO doesn't want to invest 100K. Okay, no worries. How about you bring 4 friends for 25K, which gets us to the 100K, right? So now you guys all together as a unit, because you guys are coming from the CIO, you all invest 100K, you guys all get 80-20. And so that's how we can kind of incentivize these CIOs, center of influence, to go out there and do the first deal. Now, make sure your platform that you chose is going to help you kind of go through this whole process. There is a lot of legal mumbo jumbo. You have to make sure your clients go through a lot of documents for them to sign. So just make sure you test out or get a demo of that platform. A lot of them are very, very good, but just make sure you found a great platform to help you with this whole entire process, because you want to make sure they're all accredited. They're all this, they're all that. So make sure you're choosing the right platform to allow your friends and family to invest, and that platform can help you with all the K1s and legal stuff you may need. All right, next, we repeat the process over and over and over again, right? We obviously don't have to repeat number 1 and number 2, but we repeat these processes here, right? As soon as we do that first deal, we raise the money, we repeat the process. We close on the building, we manage it. This is where asset management kind of takes over, right? Asset management is going to make or break your business. It's not going to be the deals you find. It's not going to be raising. The funds that have crashed and burned is because they had shitty asset management or shitty property management. And so their asset management was useless because they couldn't manage the real estate deals. So if you are not strong with the asset management, if you are not strong with investor communication, if you are not strong with property management, find somebody who is. Because if you're like me and you're great at marketing and sales and the deal side of it, find somebody who's great at the other 2 aspects, okay? That's it. Hope this video is helpful. If you are an accredited investor and you want to not start your own real estate fund, but you want to instead partner up with us, or you want to raise money with us or co-GP or whatever the case may be, if you want to learn more about what we're doing at Red Brick Equity and how, if you want to learn more about what we're doing, feel free to click the link down below, top of the description. It's going to give you a ton of free stuff about who we are, what we do, an ebook here, a 401k guide, all that kind of stuff. So if you're looking to start your own real estate fund and you have more questions, go down there, book a call with me and my team. We would love to help you out with any way that we possibly can. This business is very interesting because it's very different than other businesses. It's very collaborative. So if I find a huge deal and I don't have enough money, I can partner up with other folks to take that deal down. Or I might have too much money and no deal. I'll go call some other funds and be like, guys, I have a lot of money. Anything I can invest in. We haven't found a deal in the last quarter, right? So very collaborative business, which is another great thing that I love about this business model. But thanks for staying until the end of the video. Like and subscribe, comment down below any questions you have. Click the link down below, top of the description, and I will see you guys on the next one.